Hello and welcome. I'm Erin Cuthbert, footballer for Chelsea and the Scotland national team, and you're listening to the Blue Day podcast.
To start that particular season, the 99-2000, we brought in Didier Deschamps, who had experience of Champions League, and he was a phenomenal midfielder.
So it was before the Deschamps. It was Fran Lebert with Marcel Desailly, probably speaking in French.
But the beginning of the season at home to Sunderland, we need to talk about that goal. That was still a very, very special goal that people still talk about to this day. Is that up there with one of the best goals that you've ever scored?
He's probably the best. He's not the most important, but he's the best. And you know what? I always say, you say the numbers in the beginning, like 49 goals. It looks like he scored only one at Chelsea. That one. That's the one that everybody remembers. Wherever I go, they say to me, oh, the goal. They remember that one. Look, the thing about that goal is, I don't know why I done that. It's not something that I practice. It's not something I done before or after. It's not something that you do. So it was like natural. But the explanation of the goal is when Gianfranco controlled the ball and turned around, I come in outside the box running, and I thought Gianfranco had the chance to pass to me then. But because being Gianfranco, he invites you, don't worry, keep running. Like saying, don't worry, you will have the ball in front of you. I will put it there for sure, like a timing. Because remember that I didn't stop running. I didn't stop running. I didn't make a dummy. I just ran straight, and Gianfranco looked at me, and he waited, and then flick it over, because it's a flick, it's not a chip. And when I saw the ball in there, I tried, and then it was like, we were looking at each other like, what happened, incredible day, because it was summer, first game at home, sunny, 4-0, start of the season, top form. I mean, it was probably the goal that everybody remembers, yes.
And it was that season we'd have our Champions League adventure, and there was some incredible trips, some very important games at home, the AC Milan at Stamford Bridge as well, when we drew 0-0. And again, it's not the AC Milan of now. This was when Milan were
Costa Curta and company.
Yeah,
I remember I got that picture on the floor with him. Yeah, top team. I said, look, there is, Lazio, Milan, or Hertha Berlin. I mean, it's big games. But for us, the Galatasaray was important because, I don't know if people remember, in the first leg, during the game, a few fans from Galatasaray, they jump on the pitch, okay? Probably because the way that in England there is no fences and there is nothing between the fans and the player, they thought it was funny to jump with a flag and run in the middle of the park. Now, the security couldn't get one of the fans, and unfortunately for the fan, it went past Dennis White, and Dennis White, being Dennis, he brought him down, and they got it, okay, and they took him off. So for us, it was natural. I would do the same. I would grab him and say, "Come on, stop!" Now the problem when we go to Turkey, we landed at the airport, Istanbul, and when we leave in the airport, it's packed with Galatasaray fans, with big banners saying, "Why is dead? You're not going back to England. You're killed." It was tremendous. Everybody, listen, they were not waiting for Chelsea. They were waiting for Dennis White, okay? They wanted to kill him because he tackled that guy. So we went to the hotel, and we were all saying, "Why is he? Be careful, like it's going to be Monday." So, okay, they put security everywhere. So then the next day, we go to the stadium. And they went to the stadium, they smashed all the windows of the bus. Bad, eh? We were in the middle, okay? We couldn't stand next to the windows because it was everything broken, okay? So we go in like crazy. Then we go to the dressing room, we leave the things, and we want to go and see the pitch, and we cannot get out because they throw in coins and whatever. So they need to come the police and put this, the plastic cover, for us just to go to see the pitch 1 hour and a half before the game. It was packed, full the stadium. Then we go in there. The police wait for us in the tunnel. We see the pitch, and during the time we are there, the guy with the microphone is telling the fans to say something against Chelsea. I cannot say it here, but it wasn't good, okay? And the whole stadium jumping. And we look at each other thinking, wow, what a night, okay? Back to the dressing room with the guys covering us for us running there, no? And then we go in, and Gianfranco and Torre and blah, 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 and 1-0 and 2-0 and 3-0. And when it finished 5-0, there is no one in the stadium. Nobody waiting for us outside. Nobody at the airport. It was like they say, they are good. Like hands up, they are good. So it was incredible, the difference between the arrival and the exit. It was tremendous. I mean, and that is because of the quality of the team and the performance on the day.
And how ironic as well, because Dennis scored one of the goals that night as well.
The only thing I remember that night is Gianfranco Sola getting changed, I don't know, in the 70-something or whatever minute. And the few fans that were still in the stadium, like clapping Gianfranco, like saying, wow. But the contrast, no? The craziness before the game and the acceptance somehow after saying, okay, you know what? Shut up, go home. They are good, So it was a great night, yes. And those situations of then going back to the airport directly, flying. We couldn't land in Heathrow. We landed in Galway. Going back, you never arrive home. It was tremendous. But a great night of European football, yes.
And another 5-0 I do want to touch on, we sort of briefly mentioned it before, was the game against Man United at Stamford Bridge. At the time, they were European champions and Premier League champions as well. You would score within the first 20-odd seconds with a beautiful header, I must say. Don't know what the goalkeeper was doing, but it was a beautiful header nonetheless. And that was just started off what a magnificent team performance for Chelsea that day.
Yes, I think in these games when there is this kind of I call them actions that change the game completely, because you play that same game and it's 0-0 until the 60 minutes and it becomes totally different. But when you score so early, 27 seconds and the stadium start feeling the possibility of beating Man United, and then the team gets extra confident. Now Man United needs to open a little bit because it was Man United. And then you score the second goal, and then I think after the third it was a sending off, no? Nicky Butt.
Yes, Nicky Butt got sent off, yeah.
And then you go, we don't stop. We say, now you're gonna take it. It's not gonna. You're not gonna go back home only with 2-3-0. 4 and 5, and yeah, it was like I said before, it was like a proper check. When you check yourself against the best, and we knew that they have listen. One thing I'm pretty sure. I think I played only a couple of times in the 4 years with Chelsea. But when we went to Old Trafford, we had the feeling that Manchester United, we had the feeling, maybe wrong, they knew it won't be easy. And we were going in there saying, you want to play? Yes, but we want to play as well. And you have a problem. And remember, I think we drew twice. And one they drew in the last minute, Solskjaer. And the other one we drew that Gianfranco Sola scored in 1-1. When it means that we were a confident team against Man United. Maybe not that much against Arsenal, but against Man United, we felt that we had the chance to compete. So there were very good games in there that we play against each other.
And because of having that league form, plus also being involved in the Champions League, our league results did seem to falter a little bit. We would lose against teams like Watford and having issues against Bradford, for example. Do you believe personally that our league form faltered because of maybe people were concentrating more on the Champions League, or there was more eyeballs thinking, yeah, we're playing Milan this week, but we've got Wimbledon?
If you ask me, yes. If you ask me at that time, I would say to you probably no. But then after finishing the career and analyzing and coaching, I think it's natural. It's not a thing that you propose yourself. I think it's natural that you're going to play Sunday afternoon at home, with all respect to any team, middle table, or away. And then on Wednesday, you go Milan. I mean, you as a coach, you can tell the players as much as you can, today. But the player back of the mind is Wednesday. It's natural. Now, it's true that when you go into the pitch, you forget about the game of Milan and you play normal. But it's not the same, feeling inside before the game. It's not that tension. It's not that. It looks like it's a normal game, and the other one is a massive game. And the normal game, you go there, confident, fit to play. But the other one, you go like it's a final, like it's your last game, And I think that also, I have to say, not every player, even if we were most of us internationals, but when you hold the whole squad, it's not the same when you play, weekend to weekend, that when you start playing a midweek. And you start playing a midweek and you play and you repeat. We were not a team that we changed a lot. The one that started with the change, it was Ranieri, really. Until then, we were more or less most of the time the same team. So you play, and you think you can cope with it because you think you are Superman, but we are not. We are normal people that when you play too many games, you get tired, and then and you don't perform at your best, and things that happen. So that is natural. But you learn that with experience. So it's not easy. It's not for everyone. I had a few problems in. For example, in my second season in Bordeaux, when I started, we have many players in the squad that never play Thursday, Sunday, never. So it was the first time for them. So you don't know if they're going to be able to cope and maintain the level playing, the games. So it was new, but naturally those games in Europe they were amazing. I mean, okay, I didn't play a lot against Barcelona, but I mean, the games against Barcelona, Stamford Bridge, it was tremendous. It was spectacular. Even being there, sitting on the bench. So, how you think you're gonna react before playing Barcelona or after the 3-1 in Barcelona? You need to play the weekend, and then you need to go to Barcelona. And also the coach. Do you change the 11? If you change the 11 and you do 3-0, they kill you. If you don't change and somebody get injured, they kill you. So you got no chance to win except if win the weekend. But yes, it was probably because of that. I agree with you.
In the January of 2000, we would go into the transfer market and bring in a certain striker called George Ware. What was he like to work with?
A gentleman. It was the presence. He was so well educated, so polite. It was incredible. It was like it goes. I don't see it, but it got like an aura, like something that was wow. Also, we knew about being, best player in Europe and everything. With everything he came, but also the quality. I mean, I had it particularly myself because of the position that I play. I had a great understanding with George. Great understanding. It was a very, very little short time that he played with us, but Mamita, he helped us. Oh, it helped us a lot, a lot. It was a key signing for that period of time. Yes, it was very nice.
And before we touch on the FA Cup at the end of that season, there was one game I do want to discuss because you was made captain for the first time, and that was the home Champions League game against Lazio. We would lose, but you would score another beautiful goal, I must say, and a bit of an iconic celebration with you putting the captain's armband on your head.
No plan. Listen, the best part is no plan. I was a captain and we playing, I scored, I ran. I don't know why I got the thing and I put it there. It was I promise you, it was no plan because I didn't like to plan the celebration. It was just coming through. People say to me, why did you do it? Because in Uruguay, because of a tennis player. I said, no, I don't know. I just put it on. And it was there forever. So, yeah, that game was funny because I remember the play from Lazio. I think it was Cholo Simeone playing and Couto. And they were saying to us, do you want, I don't know, the other team who was competing with them to qualify to the next round. And we were thinking, what? We're playing the game. We are not thinking about who is going to qualify. We're playing the game for us. Like something like crazy. But that was the time that we used to speak a lot on the pitch, a lot, for good or for bad. And I remember that conversation. Do you want, I don't know who was the other team, them to qualify. What are you talking about? We're trying to beat Lazio. It's a Champions League game. We're trying to win here. But big games. I remember as well the game against Lazio in Rome. It was special as well. It was nice, and it was competitive, and it was a great stadium. Yeah, that season was a good season for everyone because we had different levels of opposition, and we needed to adapt a lot, and we needed to compete with each other as well. Because, like I said in the previous or in the beginning, if you were not at the top, you were out of the team for sure. So you needed to be top all the time.
Now, you would return to Wembley, not for the first
Wow.
time this season, against Newcastle in the semi-final. You would score the 2 goals to send us through. You was becoming, for Chelsea, a man of the big occasions. And for you to score a brace at Wembley, that must have been fantastic for you.
That's my day. That's what I said to you. Okay, Real Madrid. Yes, I didn't score in finals. We changed after the injury. The two against Manu. No, for me, my day at Chelsea, my day, my personal, unique, special, really, really, really unique moment is that semi-final against Newcastle. I had that love for Wembley. I had that respect for Wembley. Scoring the first goal, that was a great goal, great goal. One of probably the cleanest goals that we scored. So many 1-2s, one touch, and then the finish. Then Newcastle growing up into the game and scoring the equalize, and you feeling, hello, maybe we are not qualifying for the final, and being able to score the winning goal. That was my moment. That was a moment that stays there. That feeling after the game, the celebrations, qualifying for the final, and knowing that with the team that we had a great chance to win the FA Cup final. That was the moment that stand out for me as an individual, not as a team player, more as an individual. No, the other ones that were great moments, but that's the one because of Wembley, yeah, not because of being a semi-final, especially because of Wembley. For me, being able to score 2 goals at Wembley and winning 2-1, it was very, very important.
So the 20th of May 2000, we would win the FA Cup, beating Aston Villa 1-0. Robbie Di Matteo scoring in a final again. This rounded off a memorable season for the club, didn't it?
Look, I think the final was awful. I think it was a terrible game. But the good thing about that is that people only remember who won the FA Cup
Yes,
that year,
yes.
and it was Chelsea. The whole thing about the preparation for the final, the song that we need to go and sing. I cannot sing one word. Imagine a full song. The suit. I don't know if you remember. We had like a massive Italian company. I don't know if I can say, but we had everything from shoes, socks, underwear, the suit, the shirt, the tie, the sunglasses, everything. It was like we were going to Hollywood, and it was to play a game, to go and win it, then to going up to get the cup, the celebration with the kids. That was probably the one of the few or the only one that we were able, because then we got a letter from the FA saying you cannot do it anymore. We got the kids in,
right.
the kids are yes, we did, because it was security reasons. Okay, but at that time nobody was expecting, and we started grabbing the kids. And I got the best picture I have with Chelsea shirt is at Wembley with the cup with my two sons. I mean, it was spectacular. You cannot get better than that. And everything around that moment, the celebrations afterwards, the parade. Again, it was a special moment. Last game at Wembley, last cup, won by Chelsea. A team that is winning every year, and it really, fulfill my dream. I told you when I got 97, maybe I can play one FA Cup final, maybe. And that was the moment. So, and having Robbie Di Matteo, he scored always at Wembley. That's a plus as well. So, yes, we were a proper team at that time, a proper, cup team. We were very, very difficult to play against.
And a certain player who was on the bench, who got a little bit of a feel for the first team football during this period, was a certain John Terry. What was your thoughts on him sort of coming through the ranks? And did you see anything in him that you felt he could potentially go on to become a top player?
Well, first I had to say that the first time he came to train with us, it was the same John Terry that everybody knows without experience. Because he came there with his physique. He was not that strong, but he was already tall. Like I'm here. He was not hiding. He was like a proper character. Then I think John Terry, apart from his natural qualities, and he's a very, very intelligent person. Very intelligent person. So he knew that he had the chance to learn from a group of players with a lot of experience. But I would say specifically about him, he had a player like Fran Leboeuf with tremendous, ability to switch the ball and to hit long passes and, to be that kind of player. And then he had Marcel Desailly, which is a rock. He was a tremendous defender, so strong. So he had the two styles for him to learn the best of each and put it into his own qualities and his own character. And I think that's why after it was, I don't want to be unfair with the rest, but probably the best defender in the history of Chelsea. So we're talking about someone who very young, he was already impressive. He trained with us with respect, but if he needed to kick someone, he will kick someone. He will play when it was needed in that first season like a mature player. I'm learning from world champions. Look, from Leboeuf for Marcel Desailly. So it was. I think it was a great process, I would say, and I hope he thinks that way, to be part of that team, the end of that generation. Okay, when we were there, still the Dennis White, the Di Matteo, Mazzola, myself, Graham Leshaw, Marcel Desailly, Fran Leboeuf. Maybe it took that perfect timing for him to be then the player that he was, and okay, the rest, the history, everybody knows. But yeah, it's always nice to remember JT from those first training sessions with us. Yes.
Now I want to touch on your final season, but before we sort of go into the weeds, so to speak, the Community Shield, we would beat Manchester United 2-0 at Wembley. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank would score on his debut. He was, I believe it would have been the world record signing of £15 million at that time. What was he like as a footballer?
Look, Jimmy was fantastic, still fantastic. I'm still in touch with him, man. It's incredible what he done, because he came from Spain. He scored I don't know how many goals, and he was like a proper top scorer. I mean, I always say that if Jimmy hits the ball proper with his right foot, and you are in the wall and he hit you in the chest, you die. Okay, forget about going to hospital. You die there, because I never see someone hitting the ball so strong like Jimmy. Okay, he had a power that was scary. But the story with Jimmy, and I think probably Jimmy would remember, is that obviously he was taking penalties. But at that time, not for a long period of time, because after Fran left, Fran Leboeuf was our penalty taker. And Fran was like scoring 12 in 12 or 13 in 13 or whatever it was. And Jimmy wants you to take the penalty. But we say, no, Fran Leboeuf. Here is no Gianfranco Zola, he's not Di Matteo, it's Fran Leboeuf, because he's the best penalty taker. He's not the best striker, but he's an outstanding penalty taker. And I think Frank took a couple of more. I don't know if he missed one at the end. And then Jimmy took over and started taking the penalties. But that was as well, I don't know how to say, an information that can give how strong the team was and how respectful we were about the role of each player. Each player had a role, okay? And each player had a role that was important. So when it was a free kick and a certain distance, that was Gianfranco Zola. And don't even ask to take a free kick, because that's Gianfranco Zola. It was a penalty, it was Fran Leboeuf. Bottom line. It's not Fran Leboeuf, then we can discuss it. But Fran Leboeuf, so that kind of situation that when a player comes into the club, he needs to learn quickly. And I remember when I arrived in 97, I started looking a lot about Dennis White. Who is the leader here? Okay, that one. So I need to learn. I need to see. I need to, like the reactions and why, and the whys especially. And yeah, it was good at the start of the season. It was a great day. Roy Keane got sent off because he nearly broke my leg. It was a terrible stamp on my calf. Wembley, again. It's always, like I said. So yeah, I thought it was a few changes. Mario Melchior coming to the team, a few new faces. So it was like a new generation. It was a little bit of a change. I don't know if I think Dan Petrescu already left that season. I don't know if Frank left afterwards or half a season. So the team was started to change, and you can feel it as well. We were a different team. We were not the team from the year before or from the 2 previous years. Yes.
And it was from that time, about a month later, there was obviously a few rumblings and there was a few sort of bad results for Chelsea that they had at the start of the season. And it meant that Vialli was gone and Claudio Ranieri swiftly came in. I believe it might have been even the next day. But what was the different coaching styles between the two, comparing Vialli to Ranieri?
Okay, first, I think Gianluca left or was sacked or whatever, or got an agreement because of the pressure he put in himself. Gianluca was that type of coach. He will take everything personal. It was always him. When we lost, he will come on Monday morning, destroyed, probably without sleeping, with big eyes like that. He was really, really putting pressure on himself. But he knew the league, and he knew the group, and he knew the characters to the little bit, to the beats. Now Ranieri came on, no English, trying to change too much, changing formations every week, changing systems. It was tough for us. It was very tough. It was not an enjoyable season. You never knew when you were playing. It didn't matter what you do one Saturday. Maybe next week you were not on the team. Then me in particular, I started translating a little bit for him. It was annoying, not being able to concentrate in training and being always there. I remember one game away at Ipswich. I think it was Ipswich away, that he played Dennis Wise, central midfielder, right wing back, left wing back. I mean, he's Dennis Wise, like.
Yeah.
So yes, it was things that they were, again, for this type of players. Okay, I'm not talking about Ranieri's career, what he done this year at Roma, that was spectacular. What he done with Leicester, that was unique. I was talking about our group. We were a group that we were solid and with certain characters that he came and I don't know, and it was like we were dismantling a little bit the core of that Chelsea team of the end of the 90s and the 2000 FA Cup.
One thing I was always wanted to sort of find out in terms of how quick, when Ranieri came in, that certain players, as you said, were being phased out. So there was talks of Frank Leboeuf going sort of quite soon after, and obviously you mentioned Dennis Wise had different positions, and then Wise left that summer. Obviously, we'll talk about your departure quite soon. But do you feel that Ranieri was trying to change too much, or he didn't see or have faith in the more established players that, say, took Chelsea to a certain point, and he just wanted to rip up the book, so to speak?
I think he tried to change too much for the way he wanted to play and the way he wanted to change systems and the way he wanted to change players constantly, like every weekend. We were not the characters that he needed in the dressing room. And I think we knew January, February, after some players left, YC, myself, we knew that we were leaving. Right. I mean, I think YC didn't have a contract, but I had 1 year contract still. And I knew I was leaving because it was impossible to stay. Impossible to stay, to enjoy and to, be able to be yourself. I didn't want to stay and be false or be like, no, I wanted to be myself, and I knew what I was able to do on the pitch. And, so the idea was, let's say there was like the end of a year, we can call it. Those 7-8 months with Ranieri was the end of the year of FA Cup 97, the Cup Winners' Cup, the European Cup, the FA Cup, the Charity. It was the end of that group. And football, things that happen. So, but it was a little bit sad as well because we were not able to to say bye properly. I think that group of players, many, from Dan Petrescu, from Fran Lebeda, people that we were leaving, and it was natural. Like nowadays it's drama. No, there is celebrations, and there is shirts, and there is
yes,
Instagram, and at that time we were just living. And it was a little bit sad the way we left.
And during that period where, for example, you might have been on the bench more often that season than in previous, did you felt sort of before that summer when, all right, you might have scored, I believe you scored a brace against Derby away when we won 4-0 or something like that. Do you feel at that point you was happy with yourself or happy with your football? Did you feel that at that point you might needed a change? You might needed like a fresh start?
I felt well physically and footballistically because I was still scoring as soon as I had the chance. But I was not having the consistency and the quantity of games for me to be the influential player. So going into the detail, I went to the club to talk to the directors, and I said to the club, if you want to have a normal season next year with Ranieri in charge, I need to go. And they say, no, don't worry, God, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. And everybody knows this, but Chelsea is no different. The only problem that the clubs, they are worried with a player leaving, a player that plays so many years, scores so many goals, is what the fans are going to say. Okay? So they want you to sign the transfer request or whatever it was called. I said, that's the problem. So the problem here is not me leaving, really. Is what the fans want to think. That you made me go. No, you want me to say that I want you to leave. So it was like from my point of view, my character, a stupidity, really. Because the situation is I'm leaving. So it doesn't matter, but it does matter. So transfer request. So I remember they gave me a piece of paper with Gustavo Poyet and asking for a transfer request and sign it. So they had something to show.
Yeah.
Okay? Stupidity. I remember I signed it, and that next day I went to Spain on holidays without knowing where I was going. Okay? And then, everybody knows. To explain it to you, simple. I had two options. I had Liverpool and Tottenham. Okay, Liverpool. Right. They called me the French coach.
Gerard Houllier.
We had a great chat. I agree with him. I had a big negotiation. Then it came Tottenham into the equation. Then, again, now I'm going to explain it because I know that it created a really bad feeling with the Chelsea fans. I understand that, but I explained it many times, and I only blame myself. I was very naive, okay? And I tell you why. In my mind, the only teams that was playing in Chelsea to beat, they were Man United and Arsenal. Because I wanted to win the Premier League, bottom line. Tottenham didn't exist. I make an example. I played for Chelsea 4 years. I never lost against Tottenham. So it was not my rival. In my head, okay, I was naive. Yes, I give you that part. But I want people to understand me that it was not a rival for me. It was not. Okay? So it would be difficult for me to go to Man U or Arsenal. But to Tottenham, it was like going to Watford. The same. Okay? Now, when I realized the day after I signed, everybody wants to kill me. And I think, what did I do wrong? I swear. Funny enough, I'm not going to say names, but I will say to you, if 10 players from Chelsea, I asked Liverpool or Tottenham, 9 told me stay in London, Tottenham. 9 from 10. So it was not a feeling inside the dressing room that you couldn't go to Tottenham. Rubbish. I promise you, rubbish. And so then it became the other side. Like, oh, you are now terrible. I'm not terrible. I went to Tottenham. I played my first year. It was spectacular. I scored like 14 goals. I was flying. Second year, it was so-so with a little injury. And the third year, it was too much because it was the end of my career. That's what I decided to retire. But So let's put that. I needed to leave Chelsea. I couldn't stay. I had the two options. And why at the end it was Tottenham and not Liverpool? Simple. Glenn Hoddle came to my house, give me an extra year, and convinced me. And when you have a personality like Glenn, explaining to you what expecting from you, telling you how you're going to play, how you train, and it's London, and everybody's telling me stay, I mean, it was common sense. But it was one night, I had to say, the night before Glenn came to my house, I finished the conversation with Liverpool. I went upstairs in my house, and I said to my wife, we're going to Liverpool.
Oh, so you made
one
the
night.
decision
So I went,
that you was
because
going to go Liverpool.
it was pretty similar.
Right.
And I had a chat with them, and I thought, we're going to Liverpool. So I went upstairs, and I said, we're going to. So I went to bed, going to Liverpool. And the next day in the afternoon, Glenn came to my house, changed the contract, changed the situation, gave me an extra year, and I went to them. So that's how negotiation goes, okay? But, I mean, in terms of family, very good decision. I was able to leave the kids in the same school. All my life was around them. I had a great time at Tottenham. Like, you know, the Chelsea fans, I think my first year is top. You know, for a player coming from Chelsea, also you need to go and perform. You didn't have too much time to be rubbish, but it was always a great experience. You know, to be able to play in a different kind of level, meaning that we were, even if we lost a final in the first year against Blackburn, we were not playing to win titles. You know, it was something different. I needed to learn again, like restarting. Yeah. You know, our shout in the tunnel at Chelsea was, let's play, let's play. Look at each other, you know, like looking at the other team across the tunnel saying, you have a problem today, look at us. Yeah. You have a problem. And then going to Tottenham in the first game, it was a lot of the old fashioned, no, let's turn them, let's play behind the back four, let's run. And I was like, kind of a shock, you know, at the age of 33. But then, yes, we play because we have played like, you know, Teddy Sheringham, Leif Ferdinand, Tarico, my assistant, Christian Ziege, Darren Anderton. We play football a lot. Yeah.
Just one final bit on
that's the explanation.
No,
even
of course.
And I accepted that. I mean, for me to be able to say to you, I was naive, I accept it, but it's the truth. I'm not trying to hide. Normally, after I think also, I know the Chelsea fans, okay, and I know the Tottenham fans, and I'm going to tell you two things more about this. One, I understand that Chelsea is still looking for a rival today. Okay? And in the other hand, the rival of Tottenham is not Chelsea, it's Arsenal. Because I play Tottenham and Arsenal, and you cannot compare it with any other derby that play with Chelsea. Okay? So I think Chelsea needs to have a rival. And because they cannot make it with Fulham, because they cannot make it with West Ham, they're trying to make it with Tottenham. But the rival of Tottenham is Arsenal. Okay? And it was created after, with all this confrontation with Pochettino and company, and then Antonio Conte with Tuchel, and then it became a bigger. But still, you cannot compare the Tottenham Chelsea Tottenham with Tottenham Arsenal. You cannot compare it. I promise you. Okay.
Was you just one final thing? Then we will move on to the modern stuff. When it was the first time Tottenham played Chelsea, your first season at Tottenham, was you surprised? I believe you might have been either injured.
First game I'm suspended.
You were suspended.
First game I'm suspended.
Was you surprised with the reception that you received from the Chelsea fans at the game?
My first game at Chelsea, yes. It was mixed. It was not against, but it was not for. It was a little bit of a mix. It was the kind of I remember because it was a cup game, and when I got the ball, they was like, they wanted to say something, but it was like, I'm not. The good thing, it was no indifference. You know, it was some people want to kill me, and some people maybe didn't allow these ones to kill me. So it was mixed, and still today, still people that the Chelsea from my time. maybe no, because they know how much I gave. But the young people, they still think, Tottenham. They never forget that. But listen, decisions. That's why we live life, and there is decisions that you make. They are not 100% correct, but in terms of being able to play 7 years in the Premier League, being able to change my life, being able to, call home today. Home for me is London. So there is many things that it was because of that decision. So I cannot be my kids' home is London because of that. Imagine if I was going to Liverpool, maybe I would say to you, I got 2 little Scousers,
Might have been completely worse if you did go to Liverpool, to be fair, yes.
Well, listen, if I was there when Mourinho played with Liverpool, it would be worse, no? Because the confrontation Liverpool, Chelsea, Liverpool
yes.
with Mourinho were terrible. So it's the same. I think I understand, but it's decisions.
Let's touch on modern day football now. One concept which, and I will bring this up because I saw this on social media, I believe it was a couple of months ago. It was one of your post-match press conferences with your club, and you gave, which I thought was 100% accurate, a damning assessment on VAR, but also the people behind VAR, basically working VAR. What's your perception of the software? Are you for it, against it in obviously this world of football? But for those who haven't seen it, I do urge you to find it on social media. It's not like a swearing rant, so to speak. It's somebody with a knowledge of football, a very good knowledge of football, explaining in a common sense way why
Thank you.
certain elements of VAR doesn't work. So,
yes,
in your words, Gus, what's your
I will
opinion
tell
on
you.
VAR?
Look, first, I had to say first that when VAR arrived, I didn't like it from the beginning. And I said it. And I remember there were not many like me. Okay? Now, I didn't like it because of the explanation that I'm going to make. The best part of football, with any doubt, the best part of any game is goal. Okay? You go to the stadium to celebrate a goal. You're not going to the stadium to see a nil-nil game. Okay? And football is about celebration. Okay? And if you have the chance to be a proper fan or be a football player who is able to score a goal and have that moment of celebration is unique. It's incredible. I cannot tell you how much I feel. I mean, I can tell you my first goal for Uruguay. I mean, I was like, I wanted to cry, I wanted to jump, I didn't know what to do because it was my first goal for my country. So on those moments, they were clear. And I was explaining to people, especially me with my characteristics. It will come a ball, I will get in the box, I will score. You will look at the linesman running is a goal. And now you can celebrate, kill yourself, jump in the stand, do whatever you like, dance, anything you want to do. And it was a goal and it was no way back. And that moment is special for everybody. Nowadays, nobody knows. So you go and everybody waits and you celebrate a little bit and then you don't know if you're going to go back. And then I hate the second celebration. I absolutely hate that. People already in the pitch and the referee waiting after 3 minutes saying goal and going, yeah, why emotion? That is no emotion. That's stupidity. So I think they're taking the best part of the game away from it. And I understand that they want to be perfect, but there is no perfection in life. And football is part of life, and they cannot make it perfect. So I think that they are trying to make things too clear, and at the end, they are going against the best part of the game. Nothing else.
That's probably the best response I've ever heard in returns of VAR. That's not going to be topped for a long, long time. Speaking of things that have changed quite a bit, Chelsea of 2025, we're in the Europa Conference League finals, a huge game coming up this weekend against Nottingham Forest. Obviously, with you being quite busy yourself in the world of football, have you seen much of Chelsea this season?
Yeah.
And what have you made of their season and Maresca and every other crazy thing that's going on in the world of Chelsea Football Club?
Look, I think it was, I'm going to go from the beginning. I think it was a very difficult situation for the coach coming into the club after Pochettino left. Nobody knew what would happen. I think the first month and a half, we were all waiting and seeing. Then there is a very, very good spell. I don't remember exactly the months, but it had to be between September, October, and November. Very, very good. The team improved dramatically, started winning for fun. Everybody was thinking, wow. To the point that in one press conference, they asked Maresca, do you think you are now in a position to challenge it for the Premier League? Yeah, and he tried to, too much maybe that. And then it became the bad spell. And the bad spell was too long. Sometimes we have those spells as a coaches, and you try to make the winning one long and the bad one very short. And then obviously Chelsea is news. Chelsea was always news. Whatever happened at Chelsea is tell, newspaper, radio programs, and television programs. So then they started challenging Maresca, which obviously first season, how you can, so many things you need to do. But the idea here was a young team that started performing, that you will expect them to be down. Then they are no more younger because they had already 2 or 3 seasons at Chelsea. 5 places to go to the Champions League. So now there is a responsibility. Okay, and that's me. Now Chelsea not making the Champions League is a little bit of a failure, because I wouldn't ask if it was the top 2. I wouldn't say if it was a top 3. With the top 4, with the teams that are in the league, you will think, okay, maybe not. Top 5, you have to. That's my opinion. Now, the other part is the one that I feel as a Chelsea player: win a trophy, win the European trophy, win it. It's a trophy. It's there. It's in the cabinet. It's something that is gonna make you grow. And the most important thing for me is I want Maresca to stay. And I think the next season is the season you can start asking the coach for responsibilities. I think it's still a process, it's still a little bit of a few changes. And we need to be careful, because, you become a sucking club and you never get the consistency that you need to get. So I know that the Chelsea fans, they are not happy, but I think that we need to understand what is the idea of the board for the rest to be able to say, okay, next year, okay? But make Champions League, win the European competition, and next year, then we can talk properly about Maresca team.
Do you believe Chelsea will win against Betis?
I think they will, and I hope for, and I'm supporting Chelsea, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to put my shirt on. I know I don't have it in South Korea. Maybe I need to buy one. I signed a couple the other day. The one with the autoglass. I said to the guy, he didn't speak English. I said, where did you get that shirt? Autoglass number 8 Poyet. And the guy said, England. I don't know, maybe he traveled to England when he was young. But it was nice. It was away at Dijon. I came out, and when I was walking into the bus, one guy is showing me this Chelsea shirt, autoglass, number 8 Poyet. I couldn't believe it. I said, Dijon, what are you doing?
I bet that brought back some memories.
It's still nice to see people.
Brilliant.
Yes, it was nice.
Final question for me, Gus. And again, thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate it. How do you look back on your time at Chelsea?
Best decision of my football career, changing Spain for England. I was incredible experience. You don't imagine how much I prepare myself mentally and physically to be able to perform in England. I knew that English football will be maybe good for me, but then you need to prove yourself. And I was very lucky to be with a group of players that they were amazing in the way that they helped me to perform, because I am not an individual player, and I need the team to play in a certain way for me to be able to do what I do best. So I was very lucky to have those teammates. Just to say to you, even some people will still not believe me, but it's true. Once a blue, always a blue.
Perfect way to finish. Gus, it's been an honour. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.